Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. One thing that I noticed about myself for a very long time, I'm attention to detail. I observe things that most people don't even realize that they're there. You know, it's just always been me. And I'm going to entitle this video or something to that effect. I don't know what I'm going to entitle this video, but I'm going to say this. Always know that there could be a possible recourse to your issues. And what I mean by that is I don't give anybody a hard time. I'm a really easy, low maintenance kind of guy. But when you start BSing me and trying to cheat me, that's a whole nother level. You know, that's a whole nother animal. You know, and I'm just one of them people, I'm not taking it. And I give you some examples because this is the purpose of the video, to educate you people, because some people don't realize they have a recourse. They like, oh, they took my money and nothing I could do but complain. You know, in some instances, unfortunately, that might be the only, you know, outlet. But for most instances, it's not. You know, we live in a great country. And a lot of things in this country have rules for us to obey by. Because if you don't, people will cheat each other, you know. And there's some big people or companies, they refuse to acknowledge that. They think that they can cheat you and get away with it. And I'm going to give you some examples. And I've talked about these. I've posted a couple of videos. Let's deal with music around first. They sent me a guitar that was not playable. So I contacted them. Okay, you can send it back, but you got to pay for shipping and handling. Now, I'm a little salty about that because I'm like, you sent me something that's not even playable. Because if I had a music store, every guitar in the store would have low action. Because the majority of people that I polled you guys want low action. Now, it's different if you get a customer say, hey, they're coming to the store, the action's kind of low, too low for me. Could you raise it? Absolutely. I give you what you want. But most of us want low action. So it's like, so why do these companies sometimes have guitars in stock that they're not even playable? And it's totally different if they refuse to or elect to not put any more work into this, because they would have to raise the price and say it is as is, and you know this is what you're getting. So if you're okay with that, fine. If not, you know, perhaps we can make some adjustments to it for you, but we might have to charge you a few extra dollars to do that. You know, I'm fine with that. You know, so they send me a guitar not playable, then I have to pay to ship it back, which most companies like Guitar Center, they give you no hassle, free return. They pay for it, especially since something wrong with it. Totally different when you just don't like it. But even with Guitar Center, if you just don't like it, they still will pay for the shipping and handling. So, you know, from this point on, if I buy any more guitars, and right now I'm not going to buy any more because I'm tired of going through this, I'm going through Guitar Center because matter of fact, I got one coming from Guitar Center next week. Because again, if for some reason I don't like it or it doesn't work, I get my money back. There's no risk involved. So they told me that I had to pay, get it, ship it back, which is about $65. I wasn't happy about that, but I'm like, you know what? They got me up against the fence, so fine, because I want to send this back because I paid over $250 for it. So, you know, I'll take a small hit, which I shouldn't have to. So I sent it back, and then, according to their policy, which I wasn't aware of, and this makes no sense to me, and that's why I went after them, and I prevailed. I won, but I'm getting ahead of myself. So I sent the guitar back. They sent me back my refund minus my original shipping. Now I'm saying to myself, what reason would you have to keep my original shipping? You know, I paid you X amount. I'm expecting X amount back. But for some reason, they think that they can do this. I'm like, this is unlawful because you are not giving me no legitimate reason to keep my $70. None. This is not a restocking fee because, again, it's not that I just didn't like it. I'm like, well, then I can kind of understand that because, you know, you went through all this trouble and boxing and shipping it. But that's not the case. You sent me something that wasn't even playable in the state that it was. So... And this is their policy. They try to get away with this all the time, and it's unlawful. So I contacted my my credit card company, explained to them. It's like, yeah, we'll take care of that because that's not right. So they went after Music Around, and in less than 3 days, I get an email from my credit card company saying that my $67 have been refunded back to me. Music Around didn't even bother to try to fight this because they know they're wrong. that was some illegal BS. That they think that they can keep $60, $70 of your money and then make you pay to ship back something that's not working. So I'm like, you get your guitar back, and as it stands before, I sick the dogs on them, I'm out of $100 and almost $30, and I have nothing to show for that $130. You got your guitar back. I don't have anything other than the debt now. $130 gone. And again, I don't understand why or what's the rationale, the logic behind it. You think you could just keep $70. So again, I contacted my credit card company, and in a matter of a couple of days, I got my money back, which confirms to me that what they did in the first place was just unethical and actually illegal. You can put anything in your policy, but does it comply with the laws of the land? And apparently it doesn't, but they think that they can just do it. And there are a lot of people that didn't realize they had a recourse, so that got resolved. And I'm never going to do any business with them again. It's a shame because they had an extremely good track record with me until this incident. And I still would have purchased from them even after that, because I'm like, it's just the law of average. Sometimes you're going to get a guitar that don't work or you don't like it. But what soured me on that was the fact that I had to pay to ship back something that was not operable. And then, and again, this is the kicker, that they just thought they was going to keep the original shipping and handling for absolutely no reason. And I was like, no, you're not. Not quite sure who you think I am or who you're dealing with, but I know recourses. I know what needs to be done in most cases. In some cases, like, okay, well, hey, ain't nothing going to get resolved, or it is what it is, and you took a loss. So the second one is this one. I bought a guitar off of Reverb, and the guy advertised it as a classic vibe. And again, a shout out to one of my subscribers, Scott. Appreciate you, my friend. In the video, Scott looked at the guitar and said, this is not a classic vibe. This is a modified Squire. And he tried to pass it off as a classic. And it's like, yeah, dude, get your money back. So I contacted Reverb. Well, actually, I contacted the seller to say, hey, I'm sending this back, because the day it came is the same day I responded and said, hey, it came today. This is, it had a lot of issues. The nut tree or the nut, it was too high. They didn't even bother to sand it down. I'm saying to myself, I know Fender did not put this nut on here. I'm sure they did, unless this was a B stock and it was one of those defective ones. So it had a lot of issues. So I told the guy, I said, I'm requesting a refund. For refund, I send this guitar back. It's not even in playable condition, and there's some issues with it. He denied it. So then I contacted Reverb. I said, hey, I got a guitar. It's not even what they claimed it is. It's not playable. I want a refund. And the seller denied the refund. So Reverb ignored me for like 3-4 days. Normally they pretty quick. And I know the pandemic has messed up some things. And unfortunately, they have removed their phone number so you could talk to a live person. So now you're stuck with, hopefully they hoping that they will respond to your email. So again, they usually respond in a timely manner, but they didn't this time. Day went past, second day, third day, fourth day. So fine, I'm going to the top. So I went to PayPal, opened up a case. And the way that it's set up on Reverb, the transactions on Reverb is through Reverb, and Reverb is kind of the frontier, if that makes sense. So on the transaction, it said Reverb as the seller. So even though technically they're not, but it's their company. So when I open up a case with PayPal, they open it up for Reverb, because Reverb is the name up there for the transaction. So now the next day, Reverb decides to respond. It's like, it's been 4 days. Y'all guys been ignoring me until I sick the dogs on you. Now you're going to respond. Great. I had to flush you out. So after they responded, they said, okay, we're going to look into this matter, but you need to close the PayPal account or case. And I was a little leery about that, because I'm like, if I close this and it hasn't been resolved and it don't get resolved, I can't go back to PayPal and reopen it. But I trusted Reverb, because they said in order for us to go after the seller and make him accountable, you have to close the account close the case that's open up on us so we can do that. So I agreed to do it, and I did it. So 2 days later, actually, I think the next day, they said, we have approved your refund. I'm like, great. Make sure my camera's still running. So I said, great. So I said, so now I'm just going to wait for you guys to send me a prepaid label because I'm not paying for this. And normally you don't supposed to. So they sent me a label. And I took the guitar back to the post office. To the UPS. So I'll be getting my refund within like maybe 5 days because it was 2-day express on that prepaid label. But the moral of the story is the guy thought that he was going to stick me with a guitar that wasn't even the guitar model that he claimed it to be, which is what I thought I paid for. And when I, realized that wasn't it, and I contacted him, he thought he's going to ignore me. Dude, that's your guitar now. We're not giving you your money back. So he didn't realize the recourse that I had, And I'm like, I know I'm protected with PayPal and Reverb. So the guitar is on its way back. I'll be getting my refund. And like I mentioned earlier in this video, as far as music go around, they sent me a guitar that wasn't playable. Then they forced me to pay for shipping back, which I never did get back. But I'm like, hey, I took a little loss. But then to top off, to make it an insult to injury, then they're going to give me, remove or not refund me back my full refund minus my $70 for the initial shipping and handling. So again, the moral of the story is, in most cases, you have a recourse. And there's some people that don't realize that you have it, so therefore they think that they're going to try to cheat you. And those are two good examples that I've done in this video that they thought they were going to try to cheat me. And in both cases, I prevailed because I was right. It's different when I'm arguing the case on my behalf and I'm not right. Well, I'm supposed to lose because I'm wrong, But I was right. I'm like, there's no reason for you guys to be keeping my money, my shipping and handling. And then the second guy, there's no reason why you think you're not going to get your guitar back when what you sold me is not what I paid for. I paid for a classic Vibe, and I got a modified Squire, So, again, I post this video for you guys to say, hey, when you think you're being screwed, dig a little deeper to see, or do your research to see if you have a right to get your money back and not have anybody try to scam you. Because, again, those two examples, they were trying to scam me. Music around thought that they could just go around keeping people's original shipping money for absolutely no reason at all. And then the other guy thought that he was going to pawn off a guitar that wasn't what I paid for. And that was the end of it. Because, again, he refused my refund. And he thought that was the end of it. He thought he was in control. He thought he had the authority to make this decision, which he didn't. And as a result of that, both of those cases was in my favor. I prevail. So again, you guys, if you feel you're being cheated, do a little research and see what recourse that you can take to get your money back or the goods or services that you pay for. Until next time, take care and thanks for watching.